Hey everyone. Missed you guys over the holidays. It's been like 2 weeks. I hope everybody's enjoying their time off if they have it, or enjoying whatever holidays they choose to celebrate. I love this time of year because I'm like, I get in the spirit. I bake a lot of cookies. But anyways, I received a lot of downloads, over the last couple weeks, even over the month of December. Like, the energies are crazy. Like, my concept of time is like non-existent, which is kind of what happens when you're merging from into 5D. It's like when you're on and you're trying to, like, your 3D mind just can't wrap your head around the fact that, like, 3 weeks ago felt like one day ago, or vice versa, or everything. Like, it's just so, like, weird. I don't even know how to describe it. So I feel like I sound crazy sitting here trying to even describe it, because it's like one of those things, like, if you haven't experienced it, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you have, which I'm sure most of you who are watching this video have, then you see what I'm saying. Like, the energies are crazy, and 2020 in itself is going to be, like, insane. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the new year. I'm excited for, new beginnings. We're starting a new decade. But anyways, one of the downloads that they had given me over these last 2 weeks had to do with relationships. Shocker, I always talk about relationships and twin flames and everything. But it was weird. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the movie The Time Traveler's Wife. And this is when I was watching it, is when I got triggered. This download was triggered in me. It was like, I never even watched that many movies, like corny chick flicks and stuff. But it was like, Lance was gone, doing what he was doing with his family. And I was just by myself. I was like, let me watch this movie. So my spirit really led me, and my intuition led me to this movie. And there was a period in the movie. Okay, so it's basically a woman whose husband time travels. So he sees her all the time at different ages, but you know how time traveling works. Look it up if you don't. But anyways, so there was a part of her during, like, her later times where she would be like 30, 40. She'd probably be in her 40s, right? And they would show her, and her husband would come in, and he would be like way younger. And, like, she would almost be turned off by the younger version of him, but not completely, because she still loved him. She knew how it all worked. She knew he was a time traveler and everything. But then she would yearn for that older version of him. And the reason I bring this example up is because, like, if you think about it, the older version of him is the more healed version of him. It's the more mature, not the one who's making all these stupid young mistakes, that we all make when we're younger. And I was like, that's so crazy, because, like, she probably would not go for him right now because he's younger, but the older version of him, she's head over heels for. And it just shows, like, we have to understand, like, we want this perfect person, but we have to realize that we're not even that perfect person, and neither is anyone else. And we have to understand, like, how do I know if me and that individual have the capacity to really make this work in a relationship? So that's the question that I want to answer today, with some of the things that they had given me. And it's truly that lesson on unconditional love. Like, do me and this other individual have that potential? And this is how you know. So they gave me a different download at a different time in the last 2 weeks. And it's funny how it came together, because I didn't realize they were related until about 5 minutes before I started this video. And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what I have to come out here and talk about. It's those aha moments. That's how I receive my information. It's just like, aha, something I didn't know, something I wouldn't have known otherwise. It's just there, So here's how this kind of timeline works, right? So we're in the 3D. And then there's this period here where we're awakening. So there's a difference between awakening and then being in your ascension, like being consciously aware of your ascension in your spiritual, and being consumed in that spiritual journey and growing, right? So the awakening period is very similar for a lot of us. It is like becoming more health conscious, realizing how corrupt the government is, being more aware of the healthcare system, like all of those, changing the way that you eat, changing the way that you see people, starting to kind of see programs, but not to the point where you're making any significant changes in your relationships, your job, like what you do on a day-to-day basis. You're just becoming more aware of like shit's going on, and I'm starting to realize it where I didn't realize it before. And then there's a transition point. And this transition point I labeled as the point where you start seeing your own shit. That is where your consciousness really starts coming online, where you're starting to sit back, you're starting to tap into these vibrations where you allow yourself to not be distracted and see and observe yourself and see your own stuff. See that, whoa, I'm not perfect and I have a lot of things that I could change. There's a lot of emotional baggage. There's a lot of childhood trauma. Everybody's got their shit. Every single person has their stuff, has space in their life where they need healing. And I would even go to say maybe even more than 85% of people on this planet are not ready to be in a relationship, because in order to be in a relationship, you have to have that capacity to see your own shit and love yourself to the capacity to love another. And then be able to find another person who is also able to do the same thing. You know how difficult that is, because we're so unhealed. We're just festering with negative energy, programs, these addictions, these wanting to prove yourself in the world, overworking ourselves, completely distracted, so there is zero connection to that internal guidance. So moving on. Okay, so we have the awakening, coming out of 3D, realizing things aren't quite right. Okay, now transition point, you see your own stuff. Because you see your own stuff, now your ascension really is starting. Even though it's always going on, even the awakening is part of the ascension, but your consciousness, your realization, your of your spiritual ascension, that's when that begins. That's when you begin dealing with your stuff. And a lot of people get to this point, but get stuck in the very beginning of this because of things like traumas, emotions, things that have happened to them are their identity. When they meet someone new, the first story they tell is what? Oh, this happened to me when I was a kid. But you're still talking about it. You're keeping that story alive. You're keeping those emotions there. You're never actually dealing with them. You're just carrying around that negative energy that's keeping your vibration down. So they get stuck in this place. And when you get stuck there, it's and then you want to you start researching things about spirituality, like manifesting as twin flame or soulmate or anything. But you're not really ready to see those things appear or manifest into your life because you're not in vibrational alignment to it, because you're stuck. Because you're starting to see your stuff, but you're not addressing it. And that's the thing. If you're not doing those things, you're not going to be ready to be in a relationship that is harmonious. And I'm not saying it's constantly perfect, because if you're in a relationship who's with somebody who also sees their own shit and is willing to grow, it's not going to be harmonious. You're going to show each other things in order to heal. That's what the universe does. It says, here's a situation that seems negative, but it's your chance to perceive it in a different way and not repeat a cycle. So that's the thing. How do you know if you and your partner are ready? You are both really seeing your own stuff. Nobody gives somebody the silent treatment. If you're giving somebody the silent treatment, you're not ready. And that's okay. All that means is you need to work on yourself more. Because communication and love and respect, that is how you get through things. If someone's not giving that to you, or you're not giving that to someone, those individuals are not ready. You're just not ready. And what does that mean? Work on yourself more. If you're feeling dependent on being in a relationship and codependent on somebody, You're not ready. There's so many people who are married and in relationships that aren't even ready to be in a relationship, and they're sitting there miserable, wondering why. Like, why is this happening to me? This person seems so perfect. My marriage seems so perfect. This seems like I'm doing all the right things. I'm checking off all the right boxes. I went to college. I found this great person who also went to college, and they have a decent career. And we're having our babies, and I'm miserable. Why? Because you're not even ready to be in that relationship. And that other person probably isn't either, because you're a vibrational match, which is why you're in each other's life to begin with, because you're both feeling the same things. Very similar things. So what can you do? Work on yourself. Start taking a look about, so somebody triggers you. How are you going to react? What's your choice this time around? Do you want to repeat a cycle and allow somebody to take your power away by nagging at you or doing something? What are you going to do about it? Are you in a situation where you know for facts that person isn't for you? Or you know that they don't see you see your shit, but they don't see their shit? So you keep trying to force a relationship because you got kids together or something. Or you keep trying to force a relationship because you're codependent. Maybe financial reasons. There's a million reasons. You're religious. You only want to get married once. Your parents wanted you together. They have a great job. Like, there's all these stupid 3D reasons that people think matter. The only thing that matters is that you operate in your life according to what your soul is pulling you to do. And you completely cut yourself off from those things when you choose to go against what you really want. To please other people, or because you're scared to rip that Band-Aid off. You're scared to be like, I got to change my career. I got to get out of this relationship. I got to go through a divorce that I don't want to go through. So I'm just going to sit here in the corner and just go through the motions. Just keep going through the motions. And and the thing of it is there's so many people that stay in marriages and relationships because of their kids. They think they're doing the right thing by staying together. No, you're not. You're just showing your kids that this is the right thing to do, to sit here and be unhappy in a relationship. This is the right thing to do, to sit here and show my kids what love isn't. I'll tell you what I would like to do. Show my kids that if you're not happy, you can change your life. You have the power to change your life. And you can make those steps if you can build up the courage and love yourself enough to do that. Because when you're sitting in shit, it just means you don't love yourself. To pick yourself up, go take a shower and clean yourself off. And move on in your life in a direction that fills your soul with like bliss. You ever be like doing something that you really, really enjoy? Like, I don't know if you have a hobby, you play a sport. Like for me, I played basketball my whole life. Not now, obviously, I have all my kids. But like when I played and I was on the court, I wasn't thinking about anything else because I was in that flow state that they talk about a lot. There's a lot of scientific books on this. You get in a flow state. All that is vibrational alignment with your higher self. And you're just so like passionate and it just in it that you feel drawn to it. You want to do it all the time. That is how your life should feel every day. Every day. And our whole culture is about to shift. It's going to be an entrepreneurship. That's how like the technology and how everything is expanding. We have to move with the times. Being stuck in your old ways, thinking you need to go to college, get a degree, and then get a specific job, that is the most like soul-sucking thing. You might as well sell your soul to live the same day every day the rest of your life. Do something you love. You can monetize it. You can get on freaking YouTube and just like say how you feel and be passionate and monetize it. You can do anything you want to do and make it work. Because when you connect, there is an infinite amount of abundance it's sitting there waiting for you. The universe knows what you want. It's just waiting for you to raise your vibration, to become a vibrational match to those things that you want. There's nothing you cannot be or do or have, as Abraham would say. Everything is there right now, ready for you. But you have to make space for that. How do you make space for that? You heal yourself. You say, wow, my partner just triggered me. My partner just did something that really irritates me. So I'm going to ignore him and hope he can guess why I'm upset. That is a person who needs healing. That's a reaction that needs healing. And so the universe is going to come back and let your partner trigger you again. And they may not even know they're being used by the universe to trigger you so you can change and grow. And you don't even realize that trigger is a blessing. The universe is giving you a blessing. Here you go. Here's another opportunity to change, to see things in a different way. And once that cycle comes around and you see it in a different way, and then it comes around again because you're going to be tested again and you're going to see it in a different way. And then holy shit. Once you do something so many times, it becomes a habit, right? And then you change. You change. It is that easy. But it's not that easy at the same time, because in the beginning, those dark nights of the soul where you really do start seeing your own shit and you realize that the things in your life aren't resonating with your soul, you got to rip off some band-aids and that shit is going to hurt. You got to make some changes. Maybe in your career, your relationship, or even with your family, whatever it is. You gotta set up boundaries with other people. You gotta make sure that you protect your field. We're all energetic beings here. Protect your field. You have a field that goes around you that interacts with everything around it. And so if you bring yourself and your field into another person's field who has all these type of attachments with anger and addiction and gossiping and all stuff, and their field interacts with your field, let me tell you something. There's little demons. There's little negative energies that will hop right onto you. That's why they say you are who your friends are. You're a product of your environment. There's a million little phrases that we all say, oh yeah, those people are all like that sit around and gossip all the time. They're all the same. Why? Because once your field interacts with other people's fields who are doing these toxic things, you become that toxic thing too. Your vibration is a match to that. That's why you protect yourself. And it's not easy when we go from this culture of people pleasing. We don't want to step on anyone's toes. So we can't create this boundary for ourselves. No. You have to have more love and respect for yourself than that. But anyways, coming back to that 3D awakening transition point, seeing your own shit, if somebody is past that transition point and moving into their spiritual ascension, they're ready for a relationship. They're ready. And a lot of people who aren't even into spirituality, who are just high vibrational people naturally, they've always had respect for their partner. They always would never give the silent treatment to their partner. There are people who are not into New Age spirituality that have met a vibrational match to them and have grown and ascended and not even known it. This isn't about how much knowledge can I accumulate. No, this is about like seeing yourself, seeing your own shit and checking yourself and healing and allowing yourself to release it, not judging yourself, not getting hard on yourself, being able to rip off those big band-aids to move on in your life. You can't continue to try to heal yourself in an environment that is toxic or an environment that holds you back from being your highest, truest, most beautiful, powerful self that manifests everything that it wants. You have to be able to make those big steps. And if you are willing to do that, and if you're making those steps, you're on your merry way. And you're going to manifest an individual who is also on their way. So that's why you should wait to get into a relationship until that person is ready. That's why twin flames don't come together until both in harmonious union, until both individuals are ready. Both individuals are seeing enough of their shit that when those triggers come up, they can work through them. You can't work through a trigger if you think you're not wrong. Or if your version of solving a problem is just running away from it. Or if you don't see, if all you do is bash this individual, like, you're not changing, you're not doing this is the stuff that you're not doing. Okay, but that person is a reflection of you because you're reacting in a way, in the same way that you feel about yourself. So it's always what is, or maybe that person is just not good for you and they're trying to vibrate out of your life, but you're kind of hanging on because you have codependence issues. I mean, there's a million angles it could go. Every single person has a different situation. It's just understanding, like, okay, if you still insist on being in a relationship when you're not individually ready, that's fine, but the universe is going to send you an individual who is not necessarily your twin flame or soulmate. They're going to send you somebody to teach you a lesson. It's going to be another lesson. And it might seem really great in the beginning, but you're going to come find out that until you learn enough and you heal enough to really be in a harmonious relationship with somebody, that you're going to keep having to be delivered situations and people and just anything that will help you grow and get to the point where you need to be to really ascend with somebody else and help each other grow. You'll bounce off each other. One person will have a day where, like, they're so triggered by the other person, and then we're like, whoa, why? I mean, the biggest thing I do in these situations is step back and say, why does that shit they're doing right now bug the hell out of me? Why does it bug the hell out of me? Right? And trust me, like, this still is happening, but because me and my partner have gotten to the point where we're like, okay, this is me. This isn't the other person. It's me. Not necessarily that the other person, what the other person's doing is, like, perfect. Obviously, it's not if it's triggering somebody. But what you're feeling is you. You are responsible for what you feel. And what you feel is what determines your vibration. And your vibration is what determines what you manifest in your life. So if you can get these simple concepts down and start implementing them in your life, you can learn a million things about spirituality, but if you don't actually take that information and use it, it's not going to do you much good. So anyways, I hope this really, hit home for you guys. They've been really bringing this forward to see it in different ways. There's so many people talking about ascension and relationships and all that kind of stuff, but it's so good to see it from other perspectives. And I've been through a lot in terms of relationships. I've been married before, I've had kids. I've had to leave a marriage and divorce and all that kind of stuff. Like, it ain't easy. I know ripping off those band-aids is not easy, but if you can reach down within yourself and find that love for yourself and that courage, like, there's no situation that you can't get through. Your angels are around you, helping you all the time. Ask for help. They want you to ask. Everything is about free will. You want help from your angels and your guides and source? Ask. Yes, they're around you, guiding you all the time, giving you little hints, but at the end of the day, it's your free will to really, like, grab onto the reins and be like, okay, let's do this. But I really love you guys, and I'm gonna start a new podcast and bring that on YouTube and bring it on the podcast apps and bring Lance and I's conversations in. Like, I just got a bunch of new equipment. Some of it's still on the way. I'm going to start editing my videos. I haven't really got the opportunity to get into YouTube the way I've wanted to. And now I do. The universe is really bringing me the resources to reach out to as many of you as possible. And, I don't do too much one-on-one, so I don't make a lot of money from doing this. But to me, I'd rather get on a video, put it out there for free to see how many people I can reach. And if any of this resonates with you, and you feel like, the content is valuable to you, feel free to donate. Like, the information is below. I appreciate anybody who supports the channel, like, I do have to put all my own money and stuff into this, but it's worth it to me. Like, I feel like my soul is just, it tugs at me to make these videos. I wish I had more quiet time, but I have 4 kids, to make more of them, because I just get on here and I go. I know you feel me. And I really want to get on. I'm excited to start, really getting creative with it and bringing Lance on board, because he has his views and stuff that he wants to express as well. And when we bounce off each other, like, it leads to some very interesting conversations, and I really think that you guys would love it. So yeah, look forward to really bringing that stuff forward, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Enjoy the rest of your holidays and have an awesome rest of your day.